Good morning, traders. This is Perry Wolke with StartupTrading.com. It is 7 minutes till 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Friday, July 25th. So, looking back at yesterday's session, right, we just kind of took some distribution up in that spike, uh, those same around trades from Wednesday, right, when Google and Tesla reported and just sat there all day in the Nasdaq, basically in the ES. The ES, trade marginally higher, but nothing really to write home about. And we just basically held 564, which was a major level for yesterday, up to 566, and then just sat there and did nothing for the SPY. It was just centered around 535, and that's really where it pinned. There was a large gamma down at 630, so but 635 is where it pinned. Just all those put buyers down there were just shut out for the day, and then you can see at in the overnight. In the previous day, 633 was a little bit. So it was a very tight range, is what I'm getting at. Really just sitting here with, just taking distribution up here at this point in time. And if we look at, what that did to the, structure for yesterday, we have a little bit of a split there at 22.74.6 on the Russell. We have some excess that's under 23,330, let's call it, in the Nasdaq. So you can, anything below there's nothing holding it up at all going forward. So that'll be the test level if we get down to it today. And it wouldn't take a lot to get down there. We're currently trading 33.70, so you're talking about another 40 points down, so which would be a dollar in the Qs. We're trading, you know, 565.21, so that'd be 564.21 basically at this point in time. And then really nothing going on for the other indexes structurally. If we zoom in and we look at this high and tight range that we're in, we didn't even get down to uh, Wednesday's point of control yesterday. That's at 63.89 half. Point of control from yesterday was is 64.11 half. We're currently trading 64.07, so just under this point of control from yesterday. And you can see that Wednesday's high is sitting here at 64.04, so we're still holding above that as well. But it would be perfectly normal to at least come back somewhere between 63.75 to 63.55 basically. That would be a normal pullback that would take out yesterday's low obviously, but there was a high probability that we can take out both yesterday's high and yesterday's low because it was such a small range that traded. And then as we look at where we're at right now, we're in the middle of value, in the middle of value, in the middle of value, in the middle of value. So we're just still in the overnight session, right? We just stayed inside yesterday's range, and for the most of it was within yesterday's value area. So not a lot going on at this point in time, uh, and we just have to see if we can get to some of those levels and test them to see if they hold or if we split auctions. And go down to somewhere else. So weakness magnet level is going to be for the ES is going to be at this 63.86. That's where price is going to want to trade. Then that's separation of auctions. You're going to have to see if you want to stay above it or below it. And then as we get into positioning, uh, I do want to point out that the put wall or the call wall has moved up. Right, it's moved up to 570 on the Qs now, so that will be 200 points higher than we're currently trading. You've got a little bit of resistance at 568, so that'd be 120 points higher than we're trading basically. And then uh, the floor would be down at 555. That would be 800 points lower than we're trading right now. And then we'll see as we get into next week, how these positions roll. But uh, really, what I'm looking at is there are two basic zones, and not too far off from the overnight high. So up to 567, which would just be a little less than 80 points higher than we're currently trading right now, or down to 562, which would be that 120 points lower than we're currently trading. So I think that we could get stopped, and then loosely think of 565 as your split between these zones. It's it's entirely feasible, or that we could just end up going between these levels here, and that not be much of a split. But let's see what happens in the first half hour, uh, and see if that does look like it's a deciding level in the overnight session. For the ES, uh, 635 has been the split, right? So we've come back down to it. We've held it as support, and then going back up above it and below. And then I'm looking at very similar high and tight. If we're gonna stay high and tight, 634 to 636. So that's just a 20 point ES range. Each one of these dollars in the SPY is 10 points in the ES. So as you look at this, pullback low we had right here. So you're looking at 6404. So that's going to be that 6404 is going to be 635, basically. And then, I'll update that as we go, and then see which way we go. But the bigger picture, right? You've got 640 as resistance on the long, bigger. That's only 50 points higher than we're currently trading. That would be a lot compared to what we've seen lately. But the floor is all the way down at 600, right? That's 350 ES handles lower than we're currently trading right now. So that's a lot. And then as we come back down and look at where we're at, uh, again, we're holding high and tight up here. It'd be normal for, you know, us to get a little bit of a pullback, but we'll have to see if we can breach any of these levels, right? Are we going to just, so these zones are where the majority of trading will be if it's just another lackluster day. And then if we, start skipping zones and get out of it, look at 560 on the Qs as your first level of test uh, positioning wise, and then you could I would say 632 half is going to be a split between it's just halfway between 635 and 630, so no big deal there. And then look at 631 to 630. I wouldn't press it much more than that for the day on the lows if we even trade in that direction. I hope this helps. We'll see what Jack's looking at next, and I'll talk to you on Monday.